Good morning, everyone. We've got some great information for you today from the Be Connected website, beconnected.esafety.gov.au. That's beconnected.esafety.gov.au. It's a free website for you to use, so jump onto it anytime you like. It's absolutely brilliant, and you can see the Be Connected website on our projection here at the moment. So let's get into buying and selling online and having a look at the overview as well. Lots of different ways that you can buy online. I love to go shopping myself. It's, when I've got the money, it's nice to be able to get yourself a little treat. And sometimes there's little things that you want that you can only get online. So first of all, let's have a look at our little overview here. We're going to come in and have a look at the activities within this. So what are online shopping websites? Where can I buy and sell online? And what are my other options for buying and selling online? Quite a few, major stores have moved over to online sales, and some have even shuttered their retail stores and only do online. But now that we're out of lockdown and we can start getting back out and about again, I think many people are going to be back out physically shopping. So an online shopping website's a special website that lets you buy goods or services using your computer or a smart device instead of visiting that physical shop. So you can browse and compare items on the website. You can have a virtual a shopping basket to see the things that you've bought. You can see reviews for products as well, and of course you can get them delivered to your door. At present, with the delays that is happening in the delivery system, be aware that you are probably looking at roughly 10 days to get something to you at present. So it can be a case of being a little bit patient perhaps, but often there are many things that you just can't get at retail in Australia that you can only get on online stores. So what can you buy online? Well, you can get goods and services, food, clothes, movie tickets, insurance, practically anything. I love to get the voucher cards, vouchers for stores and things. I think they're a really great way to help family and friends, whether it's a Coles voucher or a Woolies card as well. DJs, Myer, lots of your big stores have those prepaid cards that you can use, and they're really lovely way to give to family and friends so they can go and buy something that they want to have. So your big shops, they also have online shopping websites, and you can get the same products as you get in retail as you get on the online shops. I do know some people that go into retail just to actually see the product that they've looked at online, check it out actually in the store, whether or not it feels right or it fits right, before they go home and actually purchase it online. And that's, not that bad either. But so yeah, lots of different ways that people do it. Some online shops such as Amazon and eBay are only online. There is no such thing as an Amazon physical store. The only physical Amazon is their actual fulfillment warehouse down in Dandenong, where it's an actual warehouse where they actually fulfill orders locally there. And that's not a store. You can't go and pick up your order from down there. So yeah, some sites also do online, some online stores also do secondhand goods. Things like Etsy also sell a lot of vintage clothing that are secondhand, and even handmade jewelry and handmade goods. So why should you buy online? Well, you can shop when you suits you. You could be 3 o'clock in the morning and realize you really need that thing for a couple of days time. You could go online and shop right there. You don't need to leave home. There's a greater variety of products online than there are in store, because not all stores have the room to be able to store everything that you may particularly want to purchase. So you can see them all on the online store instead. It's easy to compare your prices instead of actually having to go from one store to the next, physically walk in, write your price down, move on to the next one. No, this way you can just go between websites while you're sitting in front of the computer and compare your prices. You can browse and research for the goods as long as you like without feeling pressure. There's no salesperson standing over your shoulder going, so would you like to buy that now, Mrs. Smith? It'll look really fantastic on you, Mrs. Smith. And it's a special discount only for you today, Mrs. Smith. Would you like to buy that, Mrs. Smith? Yes, by the time, if you were Mrs. Smith, you'd probably be wanting to turn around and do him a damage. So there's no need to worry about that with online stores. You can just turn off You know, you can close the web browser, you can walk away, which is great. And you can use the internet to compare prices before heading into stores. Some retailers will match a fair price if you can find an identical item cheaper elsewhere. Yeah, so this is one of the interesting things that's happened with retail. If you can find evidence of a particular price, some retailers will price match for you, and then you'll be able to get that much better price. And you can do that online and in store as well. A great many retailers will do that. Apple stores particularly are well known for doing price matching on Apple goods. If you see an Apple product cheaper elsewhere, they'll often beat that. And some other retailers specialize in actually, you know, going that little bit further and beating prices by certain percentages. So there's lots of different ways that you can, you know, find out and get really good prices. One of my other ones is my favorite shops, websites like shopbot.com.au and finder.com.au. There's lots of different comparison sites which will let you compare items and their prices, which is even better, so you get the best deal. So here's some safety tips though. You can't try on clothing or footwear before you order them. I found out that to my detriment when I bought a pair of shoes that weren't wide enough for my feet. I've got big old clodhoppers, and unfortunately, you know, it's very hard to get wide size 12 shoes, 12, 13, 14 shoes. So yeah, needless to say, I ordered the wrong pair and had to have them returned. You can't touch or feel the items before you buy them, so you don't know whether anything's gonna, does it smell, does it not feel nice in your hand, so, you know, something like that. The color of items may not look the same as it did on your computer screen. Color on computer screens is subjective. You can raise or lower the color and the brightness on your computer screen, which affects the color that you're actually seeing. So something that, for example, may look like a purpley lavender on your screen could actually be coming out a sea green or a blue on the product, depending on what your color on the screen is. So be aware that color is something that could change. You know, that red dress that you think is red is actually could come back actually pink. You just don't know. So be careful and check descriptions of items, particularly clothing, for color. Now, while many places allow returns, it can be a bother to organise. Some smaller items can be returned within a courier bag. That often online retailers will say, hey, we'll send you out a fresh courier bag, pop it in the courier bag, call the courier, they'll pick it up, bring it back, we'll credit you back when we get it. Other places will go, this is much harder, you may have to drop it off somewhere, or you may need to arrange for the postage to send it back. Be aware that you are covered under the law by the consumer law in Australia, the ACL, and you can look that up under the website consumerlaw.gov.au, consumerlaw.gov.au, and you can see your consumer rights that apply to you as an Australian. Okay, when it comes to the rights that you have as an Australian online, these apply to Australian online stores as well as Australian retail stores. Here's the consumer law website, consumerlaw.gov.au, so consumer.gov.au actually, and have a look in there. It's got some great information and all about things such as gift cards as well, and how the law has changed for those. So yeah, definitely a good one to have a look at, consumer.gov.au. That is all about your rights as a consumer in Australia. We'll come back to that, I'm sure, later in the presentation today. So, there might be fees associated with delivery or returns. Yeah. No, for example, a friend recently had a purchase from eBay. The courier didn't actually knock on the door. They just basically bypassed it to try and get through their day, we think. And the item went back to the seller. And the seller contacted the person who was purchasing it and said, oh yeah, you didn't pick it up, so it's gone back. And the person goes, I didn't even know it was there. There wasn't any tracking going on. As such, my friend actually had to pay fees to get the item re-delivered, even though the delivery wasn't properly attempted the first time. So be careful that you may have to pay some sort of delivery fee with some retailers, and it could take days or longer for your purchase to arrive, as we're all experiencing at present. It can take quite a while right now, and as general retail opens, the hope is that that pressure comes off the postage system as people get back into standard retail, but we're going to have a bit of a flux for a little while yet, I get the feeling, and we are coming into Christmas, which is naturally a very busy time for the postal system. So, is it difficult to shop online? Well, it can be easy and convenient to shop online once you know the rules for staying safe. So from your computer or your mobile device, you can simply go to a shopping website and use its built-in search function. Yeah, lots of different sites have a search function built in, which allows you to go and actually search for the items you want and select them. Then you can pay securely with a choice of electronic purchasing methods. We'll talk more about that in the how to pay online side of things. So how to receive your online purchases? Well, shopping sites will deliver the items you purchase to your home. Cost of deliveries varies. Now, this is quite true. Some sites will say, right, if you spend more than $100, deliveries free, not a problem. Some sites will go, if you're having groceries delivered, you may be paying a $15 fee to get the groceries delivered to you. It really just depends on what the item is. You know, again, larger items may attract no delivery fee at all because the retailer can absorb the cost, whereas some very large items might actually have a delivery fee because they are bulky and hard to handle, and they may actually need human intervention, such as actually a couple of delivery drivers to deliver something. For example, a very large television would require an actual person power to come along and, you know, deliver that. Now, of course, you can also go to the store and collect the item from the store as well. You've got the click and collect option. You know, throughout COVID, we've had click and collect at a lot of stores where, you know, you go to the front door of the store, hand over a piece of paper or show them a card or a barcode on your phone. That gets scanned, you know, your ID's checked. You stand back and wait. The item's placed, you know, in a safe place for you to take it, and away you go. So when shopping on the internet, it's safer to purchase from sellers you can trust. This includes well-known online retailers, websites of traditional bricks and mortar sellers, and sellers with lots of positive online reviews from other buyers. You can also check unfamiliar sites by using Norton's website checker, safeweb.norton.com. Safeweb.norton.com will actually go through and check the safety veracity of a website. So you can pop in the web address, you can use it as a search essentially, and it will tell you whether or not that online retailer is safe. There's lots of even little plugins that you can get for your web browser now that will tell you whether or not an online website you're using is actually safe to use. And one of the things to look for on websites is the HTTPS. So when you go to look at a website and you go to see the address at the top of the screen, usually it's the www area. Now, when you click in there, you should see HTTPS before that. Okay, the S stands for secure. All shopping sites should have the S for secure on it. If it was someone's little personal blog, and they weren't selling anything, they wouldn't need the S, okay? Now, also, if you are shopping online, you may also see the symbol of a padlock. Let's again have a look at a website here. So let's come back to the consumer website, and I'll give you a little bit of information there. Thanks, Tracy. Just pulling me up on how I like to spend money. Love you. Lovely. So let's go and have a look at the consumer website. I just want to show you the padlock there at the top of the screen. So what you can see is up here at the top of the screen, it's got consumer.gov.au. If we give it a click there, you can see that it highlights the name and there's a little padlock here. If I give that a click on Chrome, it tells me that the website is secure, that there are cookies and there's some site settings, but it's a secure website. If I click on the actual website address, now I see HTTPS come up in the top left corner there. That is telling me that this is a secure website, which means that if I say did any shopping on it for some reason, everything should be fine. Right. So let's have a look at a couple of other things here. So let's come back to our presentation. Now, what kinds of online stores are there? Yeah, there's actually quite a few. Now, most online stores are just like retail shops. You know, they really are just the online version of the retail shop. But some stores are a little bit different. They sort of branch out into a marketplace style situation. So, you've got, you know, a marketplace sort of situation like eBay, where you can actually have multiple stores within the website. You know, for example, Maya would only allow Maya. You know, within their online store, or Woolworths, only Woolworths, you know, for example. But with sites like eBay or Amazon, they're known as marketplaces because they have lots of different sellers, lots of different companies that sell on their website, essentially having their own little mini websites within as well. For example, on Amazon or eBay, you can actually look up a seller and see their own little online store that's within it. So yeah, you can sell items within them, and if you essentially do want to sell, if you do want to sell online, you can actually set up your own stores and be a seller if you like. Now, so how do we find these these sites? Well, there's lots of different ways to do it. And one of the most prominent ways is for someone just to come along and do a web search. Jump into your web browser, click on your Google or your DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you use, and you can type in something like garden furniture Darwin, and you would see the list of results. Many shopping sites also have an app. So, you know, for example, there's an eBay app that you can download and shop right from the eBay app on your phone as well. You don't need to go into the actual eBay store. It's the same with David Jones and Maya. They both have apps as well. So a lot of the future of online shopping will be shopping within apps themselves. And there's even apps such as Wishlist Apps, which let you create curated wish lists of items that you want people to buy you, and you can share those with your friends and family, and the list automatically links into the correct retailer to purchase that particular item. Which is pretty amazing when you think about it. So lots and lots of ways to easily manage the shopping and the things you want and like. So where can we buy and sell online is our next activity here. So let's come on back and have a little look at that. So where can we buy and sell online? And then we'll look at some other shopping options as well. So we'll learn in this little session a little bit more about online stores and online marketplaces. So there's two main types of shopping websites. Your online stores, they only sell goods and services and are simply an online retail store. As I was saying, Woolies is your probably perfect example of that. If they had both, they've basically just got the online presence of their retail side. Now, online marketplaces let you buy from a range of stores as well as individual people. They let you sell your own items as well, so they're buy-sell sites or auction sites. Again, eBay is your most prominent one. You could also maybe think of sites like Gumtree as well, those sorts of different sites. And having sold a few things in the past online, it can be an interesting process. You do have to be pretty savvy as to, to know what you're doing, but once you've got it, you can do well. However, you do have to be careful that if you are selling online, you want to be reputable and be responsible with your clients. So an online marketplace sells a wide range of goods, just like regular stores do. Now, some items are used, some items are rare, okay? And some items can have a set price, while others might actually be up for bidding, like an auction situation, particularly things that are considered rare. For this week, we found out that a lot of the old Nightmare on Elm Street and horror films from the 80s, if you had the original VHS tapes still for those are worth at least $150, $200 or more just for the original VHS tape. So that was an interesting thing we found out this week, as someone I know had one of those tapes and went to give it away online, and then they got flooded by people saying, I would have paid you for that. So one of the things to be careful about when you're doing online and online selling and online buying is to check some prices and do some research before you do buy or sell. So buy and sell websites. eBay is a well-established buy-sell site that lets you buy and sell with anyone, anywhere in the world. You can go and visit eBay at ebay.com.au. Lots of many standard sellers also use eBay. ebay.com.au. Let's go and have a little look at eBay now. So I wonder if there's anything on eBay I want to buy today. Now we could be in trouble at this point. Right, here we go. Oh, there's those chrome-plated 3D printing heads I wanted. So eBay's been quite clever, and it's remembered me. You know, it's gone, oh, hello, Matt. You're back to go shopping, aren't you? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, eBay. I want to go shopping. So eBay now is just giving me some items that I was looking at previously. You know, some items for my 3D printer and accessories. So definitely knows me well. And, you know, maybe I want to buy a new 3D printer. No, I've got two already. Don't need a third. But is there anything in here I want to purchase? Now, for example, I like musical instruments. I'm also a musician. So I'm going to look for Behringer synth. I quite like Behringer's little offerings in the synthesizer world. So they've got lots of different things here under synthesizers and so on for Behringer. If I come to the right hand side here, it's got lots of options here. So I can choose the Behringer brand. There we go. That narrows it down straight away. And whether or not I want a synthesizer that's a desktop, a keyboard synthesizer, a modular synth, lots of different types of synths. And I can then scroll through now and see if there's anything I like. E.g., I already own a Model D. For example, I'd love some of these particular synths. They're very, very nice. You know, maybe a Neutron, perhaps. So lots of different little synthesizers here and drum machines that I might be interested in. And as I work my way through, I can see the various pricing, and you can see that there is a wide variety in pricing and what you pay. I don't know why they're charging that much for a cat. That's a little bit weird. But yeah, so a lot of these synthesizers I can go in and see. There we go. The Behringer DeepMind 6, and I've seen a price there. And if I go DeepMind 12, so I know what I'm looking for. Right, there is the actual synth I'm looking for, and it's, you know, through a number of different retailers. So then I could go through and see if I can find a good price. Looks like the best price is actually still at the top of the screen there, 1189 there for the particular little item. If I give it a click, I can now go on to eBay and actually have a look and see the details of it. There we go, and I can see the actual price, I can see who's selling it and where they're from, and so on. So yeah, there's quite a lot of interesting things you can purchase on eBay. Something that is, you know, very good. Now, let's move on and come back to our slides. So whether or not you're buying or selling, eBay secure systems let you manage everything. So you can use eBay's messaging feature to ask the seller questions about the item. You pay through eBay's payment system, and you can provide feedback through its rating system as well. eBay keeps a record of all your purchases and sales, and if you're selling something, you can even print out postal labels too, which is pretty fantastic. eBay's also got a number of mechanisms you can use if there's issues with your purchase as well. You can use PayPal on eBay as you like. You can use PayPal, Afterpay. You can use Google Pay, Visa, major credit cards as well. And you can even use Afterpay for eBay as well, which is fantastic. So lots of different options there. Now, there's a couple of other different sites you could possibly look at, such as Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace. So they're also marketplaces as well, and you can use those mainly to sell as a private individual. Payment and deliveries arranged privately, though, between the seller and the buyer on those sites. and they also allow you to give items away or exchange them too. So Facebook Marketplace is a part of Facebook, facebook.com. You can go to Facebook and then have a look for the Marketplace icon on the left-hand side of the screen, and that should take you into Marketplace, where you can go in and buy and sell through Facebook as well. Now, just remember, if you are purchasing through those sites, you are actually purchasing with an individual. So here's your e-safety tip. You should exercise care when dealing with buyers and sellers on buy and sell sites. Never give out your personal details, and try to arrange delivery by post rather than in person. Most importantly, you should only communicate with people you're selling to or buying from through the site's messaging systems. Never respond to text messages from buyers or sellers, no matter how tempting it might be. You know, if the items in question is too heavy to post, an in-person collection is the only option. A good tip to have a friend or family member with you when meeting up with the buyer or seller, you know, when collecting the dollars and all that sort of stuff, you know, e.g. helping to move things. And this has come to light also recently when, I can't remember the celebrity, I think they were a cricketer, they went to sell a laptop for their daughter on Gumtree, and had some people come around to collect it, and he handed over the laptop. They stole the laptop and ran, and he ended up actually giving chase. So, you know, he didn't get any money off them, but he did, you know, chase them, and they dropped the laptop and he was able to retrieve it. So it was one of those cases where someone was trying to do a runner. So you've really got to be careful if you are doing in-person sales through Gumtree or Facebook Marketplace. Okay, I still think you're better off arranging things through post and getting a tracking number as well, so that you can give the person you're selling to the tracking number, and they could give you one. So why buy or sell? Well, online marketplaces help bring buyers and sellers together. Just importantly, they've got rules which can provide protection and assurance to both parties. The rules vary between the marketplaces, and some providing more safety than others. Does it cost to use these services? Well, for buying, there's no fees for purchasing. You may need to pay for postage or delivery of the items you buy. If you're selling, well, some online marketplaces will charge you a fee for, you know, each item you sell. Others might charge you a standard fee for having a store. Others may offer different fees, you know, that give you either free listings or options that you pay to make your listing go up the list, essentially, and be more prominent for people to see. There's lots of different little formulas that go on with these different websites, so you'll have to have a little read of each one. And you can buy from anywhere in the world with online shopping, but postage costs from distant countries and foreign exchange rates can turn a bargain into a very expensive dud. This is very true. I've seen it often, many times, particularly on eBay. You know, you see an amazing price, which is maybe $300 or $400 off the Australian price, and then it says it's coming from, you know, far-flung Kazakhstan, you know. Now, by the time you deal with that postage cost, by the time that you've got the exchange rate done, and some items you actually have to pay import duty on when they arrive in the country. It's still pretty rare, but you might have to, which means that costs you even more. So that lovely item that you may have purchased, you know, for what you thought was a steal, turns out to be a rather expensive thing that you might have actually ended up saving yourself money by buying locally anyway. So yeah, be really concerned about that. Do some checking on the exchange rates. Because whenever you do pay for something, whilst most sites will actually show you the payment in Australian dollars, there are some sites that might not do that and only show an overseas equivalent, which means that you do actually have to, you know, do some checking on exchange rates, and they might only use the most expensive exchange rate, by the way. So again, lots and lots of room for error there. So if you want to set up an account with an online marketplace or to buy or sell online, you'll need to set up an account with one of them. If you've got a Facebook account, well, you can already use Facebook Marketplace. However, if you wanted to use eBay or Amazon or one of those guys, you will need to set up an account with them. When you create your account for a marketplace that does payments, you'll need to set up a preferred payment method. Do you want them to pay you to your bank account or to a credit card? If you're buying or selling, there's lots of little things you've got to think about, because you also need to have an account set up so that they can deduct money from your account for fees and so on as well. So yeah, paying for items securely is covered in the Pay Online course, but yeah, be really careful. You might do something like buy some shirts online and then realize that you're paying for things in American dollars and the exchange rate hasn't been factored in, and then suddenly it's 1.5 times or a half time again more expensive. So yeah, being really careful. Do you always need to log in? Well, not unless you purchase or you want to purchase or sell something. If you're just having a little gander, as they say in New South Wales, we're having a squeezy squires. Well, you could basically just not even worry about logging in, and you could go around the site, have a look at the different products and so on. If you do want to buy or sell online, then you can log in. And if you do log in, some sites will actually give you a discount depending on what you do. E.g., eBay sometimes does a discount when you purchase on eBay. They might take $10 off something when you purchase. So yeah, it really depends on the particular site. So be careful, because it's great to be able to do that online shopping and do those price comparisons, but some sites might actually have hidden discounts that you don't see unless you log into the site. So let's talk about other online shopping options. I love click and collect, by the way. I'm still a fan of click and collect because, it's there, usually if it's online, if it's in stock at the store, go down the store, you've clicked and collect, you've already paid it, you just grab it and go. No need to hang around in the store. And I think that's probably a good thing as well. So what can you buy online? Well, you can get lots of different things such as clothes, pharmacy items, movie tickets, flights, books, insurance, groceries, and fresh fruit and veggie as well. Fresh fruit and veggie, very cool. So, and also, yeah, click and collect stops you from impulse buying. That's very true. There is this thing that you suddenly realize, oh, I've got to go out and get that. Do I really need that? So yeah, sometimes being able to stop yourself from impulse purchases is very good. And yes, when you're buying and purchasing online, things like, groceries are actually another really good one, particularly if you are, say, unwell or you need help, to get things home. Well, getting groceries delivered or even just getting, them on click and collect can be fantastic. And I love getting things that way. So is it a good idea to get your groceries online? Well, you can search for groceries online by category, aisle, brand. And if you set up an account with the grocery website, you can save frequently bought items to a list. So you can actually have your own particular personal shopping list that you can have done. It's one of the things that you need to be careful because fruit and veg items and deli things are all handled by the staff in the store. So, you might not like the odd, blemish on a piece of fruit, but that person who's picking isn't really caring about that. They're just filling in the order. They might pick up an orange that's got 2 black blemishes on it. You might not be happy. Okay, so be careful when you do allow someone to hand over, because you're going to get the fruit and veg that they've picked for you, not necessarily what you would have picked yourself. So do keep a check on the terms and conditions of grocery sites as well. Whether or not there's any options for you to have things returned or or even exchanged for something else. If you find that something's not quite right, usually you do get a credit on your order though, which is not a bad thing, and you can use it for next time. So if you are one of those people that do want to get your groceries delivered, be aware that yes, you can get some savings, but there's usually a delivery fee. And sometimes the delivery fees change on the days of the week, because some days of the week are much busier than others. Now, check too that if you're a seniors card holder, yes, love the seniors card. Now, if you're a seniors card holder, there are some stores that will actually do a discount for you as well for your grocery shopping. And there's even priority assistance for people, who are essentially housebound, so they can get their groceries delivered more expediently to them as well. So it does keep, it does pay to keep an eye out on what's out there as well. You know, versus your Woolies versus your Coles versus your grocer website versus the other different online grocers. Aldi, by the way, doesn't do online grocery at all. Okay, so if you're an Aldi person, you're going to be switching to a different store if you want to do online grocery shopping. So what are the pros and cons? Well, you can shop when it suits you, even when the shops are closed. There's a wider range of items to choose from. You can take your time comparing prices, and items get delivered directly to you. Yes, which is fantastic. We love it. But what are the downsides? Well, you can't try on that clothing and footwear before you order them. You would actually have to go into a physical store to do that. You can't touch or feel the items before you return them, so you don't know whether or not you don't like the texture of a particular item, you know, whether or not something that actually, you know, you got to use that and you think, oh, that's not particularly nice. I don't like that. So yeah, different ways to think about that. While many places allow returns, it can be inconvenient and time consuming to actually deal with them as well. So, and of course, it could take days for things to arrive. Now, groceries aren't going to take days. Okay, with groceries, you can arrange a grocery delivery slot, a slot, I should say, and that slot can be anywhere between 4 hours or 8 hours, depending on the grocer you like. You can use a morning, during the middle of the day, during the afternoon or evening, depending as well. And depending on when you get it delivered, you might actually find there's a higher or a lower delivery fee as well. So lots of things you can think about, because you know you might have different things going on in your day, and you might need groceries delivered at a particular time frame. So, is online shopping safe? Well, yes, it is. Online shopping is safe if you're using a website that is secure or an app that's got security built in. Now, apps on most stores are secure and have the security built in, for example. But if you are buying online, be aware that websites that are based in Australia, Australian retailers, they're the only ones that are covered by the ACL, the Australian Consumer Law. Sites that are based overseas, you don't have any sort of coverage from, apart from whatever their local laws stipulate. So many stores have payment systems such as PayPal that protect transactions that are made online, and credit card companies also have rules designed to keep you safe. So for example, if suddenly there's a whole lot of purchases that happen online through a variety of stores very quickly, often a lot of banks will see that as a signal and stop your cards. Because they might go, hold on, there's just been 4 or 5 transactions in the space of 10 minutes at several different stores for different amounts. That doesn't look right. We'll stop the cards and we'll query it with the client. And usually you'll get a phone call if something like that happens. So you should only ever use secure websites, okay, when you are buying online. So any of those secure websites should have HTTPS in the website address, or the padlock coming up on its name at the top of the screen. So usually where you see www.woolworths.com.au, left-hand side, look for the padlock or the word secure, you know that you've got the secure shopping website. And yeah, don't click links in email as well, that, you know, because they're often fake. So don't click those. You know, you might get an email saying 35 to 75% off today. Click this link for the sales special. And it might be a fake email taking you to, it might be an email taking you to a fake retail site, you know, as well. You've got to be really careful. So where can you learn more? Well, so there's some other courses. They're how to pay online, how to buy online, and how to sell online courses that are also in the topic. So yeah, the other online shopping options we've now dealt with. So for those of you who are Be Connected members, be aware that you do have a little quiz that you can undertake as well, and that's a really great one to, you know, give you that little bit of extra information and just, you know, test what you've learned there. So yeah, buying and selling online, that's their little online overview that we've just done there. So now we've looked at that, let's talk about how to pay online, and then we'll also hopefully have a little bit of time to cover off a couple of other little options here. So ways to pay for goods online, your pros and cons of things like PayPal, setting up a PayPal account, understanding your cost, and protecting your credit or debit card. But we do have a little video for you, so let's have a look at that right now.
PayPal is one of the safest ways to pay and be paid online. It allows you to send and receive money without having to share personal financial details with the websites or individuals you shop with online. With PayPal, you don't pay someone or a shopping website directly. Rather, you pay PayPal. And PayPal pays them. PayPal also has rules that help protect buyers and sellers. If you buy something with PayPal and it's damaged, incomplete, or not as described, PayPal can refund the cost of the item and the shipping cost. It doesn't cost anything to buy items with PayPal. There are fees, however, if you sell items online and receive payment via PayPal. In this video, Antonio is going to set up a free PayPal account so he can buy and sell items online. To get started, he types paypal.com into his computer's web browser. He's using Chrome. In other browsers, the following steps may appear in a different order. When the PayPal website opens, he clicks the Sign Up button. He might be asked to take a short security test. This lets PayPal know that the account is being created by a real person, not a computer program pretending to be a person. Great! Now Antonio can enter some personal details. He starts with his email address and mobile phone number, followed by his first and last name. He enters a password for his PayPal account, making sure that it's not one he's used before. He then types it again to confirm it. For security, PayPal checks Antonio's mobile number by sending a one-time code to his phone. He carefully types the code into the computer to confirm the number belongs to him. Next, Antonio types his date of birth and home address. He reads the user agreement and, when he's satisfied, clicks on the Agree and Create Account button. Antonio has now created his PayPal account, but must link a payment method before he can use it to shop online. This will be the account that pays for items he buys using PayPal. Antonio can link a bank account, credit or debit card. He chooses to link his debit card. He carefully types in his debit card details and, once he's finished, clicks on the Link Card button. And that's it! Antonio has completed the setup of his new PayPal account. Now, whenever he buys or sells online, he can avoid sharing his financial details with shopping websites by choosing to pay or be paid using PayPal.
Good on you, Antonio. Yeah. And this is very true that not everyone is going to offer PayPal as a choice as well. Not everyone offers PayPal on eBay, by the way. So it is a great payment option, but it's not always offered by all of the different payment services that are out there. So let's talk about ways to pay for goods online. And so let's cover off some of these other options here. So you can't use cash to pay for goods and services online stores, unfortunately. And, checks, pretty much will have gone to God. And, when someone said money order, everyone looked at them and went, what? So really these days it's direct deposit into their bank account, credit or debit card, or payment systems such as PayPal. And even direct deposit doesn't get used too much anymore either. So it really is down to credit debit card systems, PayPal systems, and other payment systems like Google Pay or Apple Pay. So online stores like Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace help buyers and sellers meet in person to exchange cash for goods. However, it is important that you be aware of your personal safety, and that really, if you are going to do anything like that, accept cash and meet in person with someone, you should meet in public, in a public place, in the daytime, and have someone with you for your personal safety, as we talked about earlier in the workshop. So if you're paying by direct deposit, one of the easiest ways to pay for things is to directly deposit into the purchaser's or the seller's bank account. They can be risky. However, if you get the transaction details incorrect, or if something goes wrong with the transaction, you've got less chance of getting your money back than if you did through credit card or PayPal. With credit card or PayPal, they both have protections in place where you get your money back. If you are directly depositing to a bank account, you are running in a world of risk, because if you get that account wrong, most banks may not necessarily recover the money for you. So if you pay by credit card or debit card, they offer protection. If you make a mistake entering your credit card or debit card details, payments fail and you'll be notified immediately. If something goes wrong with the transaction, there's often great ways you can get your money back. So only enter your credit card or debit card details into a trusted website that's got a padlock or HTTPS. We've talked about this a couple of times now this morning. As long as it's a secure website, you should be fine, but also keep a record of your online purchases. You should get an email with a confirmation of whatever you purchased as well. So keep those emails, check your bank statements as well within 15 minutes of making an online purchase to ensure that no other purchases have come out, just in case that store was dodgy. There's third-party payment systems such as buy now, pay later. So many online shopping services offer you to use either your credit card or you can use PayPal or Zip to pay for things in installments with no extra costs. Now it's like a reverse lay-by. Okay, you get to take the item with you straight away, but you only pay the first payment on it. Usually these are spread across 4 payments that are fortnightly. However, some of the other options let you pay over longer terms, and they are very, very much like having a credit card. So for these particular services, they do spread the cost over time, and you may find that if you don't pay up on time, that there may be expensive charges. So be very careful. Now, if you're using third-party payment systems, well, PayPal is a service that allows you to pay for goods online without sending your bank or credit card or debit card details directly to the seller. It's way safer than actually having to deposit money into their banking accounts. And multiple stores, online marketplaces, love PayPal because you pay PayPal as the purchaser. PayPal pays the person that you're selling, and then it all gets done that way. So sort of a middleman process. It helps to keep you safe. PayPal provides greater protection for online purchases than credit cards. When you pay with PayPal, the seller does not receive your payment until the item has been shipped. If you don't receive the item, or if it arrives broken or not how it was, PayPal will refund the cost of the item and the shipping. It's very useful for sites like Gumtree or Facebook Marketplace, where sellers can't always provide the guarantees you would, such as you get from a shop. Okay? So PayPal is not the only option though. Now you've got a couple of other digital payment options. So several services work in a similar way to PayPal, including Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay. While PayPal is mostly used for online purchases, the other services are mostly used to buy physical items in the real world using a smartphone, but they can be used to make more purchases, on eBay. I use Apple Pay on my Apple Watch and on my iPhone to make purchases when I'm out and about in the real world, but I also now use it with a number of online shops as well, and can authorize the payment through my phone. So I actually go to the online store, I choose Apple Pay as the payment option, and then it sends a message to my phone for me to confirm that I want to make that purchase, giving me a second level of protection. So that way, you know, for example, if I suddenly got a payment request suddenly coming up on my phone, I go, hold on, what's going on here then? So yeah, it's a very, very great way to do things. They'll look more at PayPal in the next activity. What I will do is we'll skip out of PayPal, to be honest with you, and we're going to cover a couple of other little things of some supplementals I've got for you today. Have a look at PayPal as your homework for this particular one, because the next screens are taking you through setting up a PayPal account and so on. What I will do is I'm going to scroll through that, and we're going to come down to the extra cost in protecting your credit card or debit card, and then we'll have a look at some of the other payment options. So let's move into understanding extra costs. Okay, so when you do buy online, there are extras and they can add time and cost to your purchases. So you need to be aware of them and what they are. So it may seem obvious, but you really should be checking product descriptions. So, you know, making sure that it's a red t-shirt, that it is a red t-shirt instead of a red shirt, because there's a very big difference between a red shirt and a red t-shirt. So that's one of those important things. So to minimize your cost of returns, carefully check the description of the goods before you make that purchase. Dimensions, sizes, colors, they're all really important. Has it got the right shoe? Now, for example, with shoes, are you using US sizing? Are you using UK sizing, for example? They're different sizing regimes. You know, if you're a UK 12, you might be a US 13 or a US 11. How do you know? So you need to make sure that when you are doing sizing, particularly for things like shoes, you are choosing accurate sizes. Make sure dimensions and things are fine. Make sure that you choose the right quantity as well. Sometimes people accidentally type in a 1 and there might still be a 0 in the box. They end up with 10 items instead of 1. So be really, really careful. Read reviews by products, on the products that you're looking at by other people. So, you know whether or not it's the product for you. And check the returns policies on stores as well, because if you've made a mistake or something's wrong, you need to be able to find out whether or not you can, get some recompense and sort it all out. So if you're selling online, it's a good tip to check that the store's online selling fees are set in a particular structure. You can go and learn about those fees. Some of the websites charge nothing for you to sell. However, you might get charged a fee for making your item more prominent, boosting the post, essentially. And the term boosting gets used here. Other sites charge fees. Usually it's just a percentage, though, of what you might receive, and it's usually taken out of the money you would get. So with some stores, they might say, right, you sell a amount of something for this much, we'll take 2%. As the fee for this, and so when the actual payment goes through, you get the money minus the fees from the store. Now, delivery fees, whether you're buying or selling, the cost of postage or delivery should be listed separately. When you're buying, websites will tell you what the post cost will be, particularly retail online stores. They'll tell you, whether or not you're paying for delivery and how much that delivery will be. If you're purchasing online and you're going through private sellers, be aware that some private sellers will go, right, the cost of the item is this, but to post it to you, it's going to cost this. You need to pay for the postage on top. So yeah, be aware that sometimes if you're dealing with private sales, that $50 vase that you wanted could actually end up costing you $150 because it requires specialized freight, or it needs to be handled because it's fragile. Yeah, just be a little eyes open on that one. So look out for payment fees. If you use PayPal, the seller has to pay a commission to PayPal, and that's usually factored into the sale price. So in many traditional shops, some types of credit cards can incur additional fees. You know, for your Amex particularly, and Diners Club cards often incur extra fees at some stores because of the way that they're set up. So those, again, any fees that you have to pay should be very clearly outlined. Now, if you're looking for international listings, you've got to be really careful because, for example, Amazon often lists items for sale from overseas, and you might only have the price in American dollars. So you need to make sure that the price is coming up in AUD, Australian dollars, not USD for American dollars. Okay, because if it comes up in overseas price, you've then got to go and do some calculations for the exchange rate and adding the pricing and the cost for the delivery. So yeah, be wary because yeah, exchange rates change minute by minute, and everything depends on when a transaction is finalized and what exchange rates used. And some sites may only update their exchange rates maybe once a week. Some of them might do it on a daily basis. It really depends, and you could get stuck, so be careful. So even though many international goods available for purchase on reputable websites like eBay and Amazon are okay to bring into Australia, some goods such as medicines, food, plants, and so on may not be allowed due to our strict biosecurity and other laws. If you're unsure about something you'd like to order, we recommend you carefully read the product review to see if anyone has encountered an issue. Check with the Australian Department of Agriculture, Water and Environment's website as well. And also, goods purchased from overseas for delivery to Australia that are over a certain value may attract an import duty as well. So you may want to check the Australian Border Force. They have a little website here on bringing in goods. Let's actually have a little look at that. Let's go and have a look here and see what Border Force are telling us, so we can make ourselves aware. And we'll also look at the Department of Agriculture's site just quickly. So we'll copy and paste that in there as well, and we'll quickly show you those two pages. So let's come on back to Border Force, and we'll show you what they've got there. So we'll stop that share and we'll do a fresh one for you here, everyone. So let's have a look at Border Force just quickly. Here's Border Force's website, the Australian Border Force, buying online. For goods with a value of $1,000 or less, there's generally no duties for something coming in, or taxes or charges. However, the GST may be collected by overseas vendors, and for goods with a value of over $1,000, you may need to fill out an import declaration and pay duties, taxes, and charges. You'll need to pay duties and taxes on some goods, like tobacco and alcohol, regardless of their value, and there are some items which cannot be imported into Australia. And there's a whole lot of information there on what to be aware of. So yeah, be very, very careful, particularly if you're importing pirated or counterfeit goods. The law is very, very nasty in regards to that. So don't go importing those Bali DVDs that your friend keeps telling you to buy in. Now, the Australian Government of Agriculture, Department of Agriculture, their website, this is all about the biosecurity laws as well, because the lovely puppies will go through and sniff for things that should not be coming into Australia, such as food that's not contained, illegal items, seeds can be the same as well, explosives, all sorts of different things, different types of chemicals. So there's quite a lot that you've got to be careful about. So do have a good little look at that site as well if you're ever curious about things coming in. Biosecurity in Australia is super important. We do want to keep ourselves as free as possible from those nasty little imported bugs that can appear. So that's a little safety tip there on getting things imported. So let's talk about the protecting your credit card, and then we're going to go and hopefully have a look at our last little couple of sections here on the other payment options. So making purchases online. So unlike your regular shops, okay, you don't use your signature or your PIN for your online purchases. You've got none of those options. So instead, you have to put credit card details in, such as your name, your billing address, your card number, expiry date, and the CVV, which is your security number that usually sits on the back of the card. So all of that information that you're giving them, essentially that shop could come along and make purchases on your behalf. Now, if they're a dodgy operation, this is why it's really important to keep a check on your credit card, because you don't know what that shop's like unless you've gone and read some reviews of them. And several years ago, there was a camera store in Sydney that was selling cameras online, taking orders, and they weren't fulfilling the orders. They were just taking the money, and when things were getting sent out, some things were broken, some things were secondhand that had come off eBay and so on, and lots of customers complained, and eventually that company got completely shut down, and the owners made bankrupt. So legitimate shopping sites will ask you for the CVV on the back of your card. Never use a shopping website that doesn't ask for your code, because that means they're just gathering data. They're just trying to grab credit card numbers. If you receive a link in an email or a text message for online shopping, don't click on it. It could be a scam. You know, a lot of online stores are starting to sell these or send these SMSs out. It's great to see them, but don't click on the links within the SMS. Go to the website itself and actually have a look on it, okay? And if you're curious about whether or not it's real, get in touch with the retailer and say, is this a real promotion from you guys? So look up the website independently, and if you don't want to use a credit card for online purchases, you could use PayPal. As we said, there's a pros and cons of PayPal there. You've got different payment options, but be very careful. Both Visa and MasterCard provide extra security measures for their credit cards, and you need to set those up with the bank. They provide secure MasterCode verified by Visa. Some of them get password protection. Really just depends on your bank. Some banks have automatic checks in place that will look for unauthorized purchases as well. So if your credit card's lost or stolen, call your bank to cancel it right away. Super important that you call the bank immediately you realize that your card has been lost or stolen, because then you'll be protected from responsibility from any of the purchases made on the card from that point onwards, and most likely from the time it disappeared as well, which means that you can get what's called a chargeback for any of the purchases. So any money that's come out of your card that was unauthorized by you should be returned back to the card via insurance, even though they may replace the card as well, so you'll get your money back. So ask your bank about their automatic reporting systems for your credit card. Some banks will call you to confirm any out of the ordinary purchases, such as large numbers of purchases, or particularly high amount purchases as well. So some banks won't hold you responsible for the fraud on your card, particularly if you say been the victim of violent crime or of some type of fraud. So yeah, the minute you realize something's going wrong, definitely get in touch with the bank to get your card stopped. So don't make purchases using public Wi-Fi networks, because not all of them are secure. Different public Wi-Fi networks have different levels of security. Don't make purchases from websites that you don't trust or don't have the HTTPS or the secure or the padlock. If you don't see any of those, it's very likely that it's not a secure site and it's dangerous. Most websites will tell you that anyway these days, but do check, and keep your computer security software and operating system up to date. So if you're using antivirus software, keep your antivirus software up to date. They can often help as well. So let's go now to a couple of other little supplementals that I've got for you here. And I'd like to take you over now to some information about buy now and pay later systems. So these have emerged in the last few years, these buy now, pay later systems. So they, as I was saying earlier, they are like the traditional lay-by, but in reverse. So you get to take the item with you while you spread the payment out over time. So usually over 4 fortnights or a period of months, sometimes it's up to 6 months, depending on the type of purchase you're doing. You can, some of these services such as Afterpay, Klarna, Zip Money, Zip Pay, Hum as well. So there's quite a few of these that are into this state now. A credit card is often required as proof of ID, and a credit check will be undertaken by these companies as well, because they want to make sure that you do have the credit to be able to make purchases every month. It's not in their interests for you to be in trouble. Bear with me just a moment. So, with these particular types of accounts, they tend to have two tiers: an $1,000 tier below $1,000 or an above $1,000 tier. Now, if it's below $1,000, usually they'll get you to pay it back over 4 fortnights. If it's over $1,000, then it gets spread out over a series of months, and you often are given the option just to pay a certain amount a week back, and for as long as you want to. Problem with this is that with these options, after 6 months, you can start to incur interest fees. And it becomes very much like a credit card. The problem then is that those fees can start to pile up and you don't necessarily start to make any headway. So you've got to be really, really careful. These can always, these can sort of end up like some of the interest-free cards that you might get for bigger purchases such as computers and so on. And they say, buy now, no interest for 2 years. And the whole idea is that you pay that device off inside that 2 years, because if you start getting in for interest on it at the end of the 2 years and you haven't paid it off, it's going to be crippling to actually pay the thing off. So definitely be very careful with these. I still think the options under $1,000 are best for the budget conscious shopper, so that you can actually spread the cost out over time. You know, for example, if it is $1,000 item where you're going to be looking at $250 a week, $250 a fortnight for these, which means that you've got to basically find, $100 and something a week, 115 or whatever it is a week, to be able to cover that payment and do that continuously over the 8 weeks. So be very, very careful. Make sure that you do have enough money to cover each one of these. When you go to sign up for these systems, you usually sign up through their app, and the app will take you through a credit check process that will use the credit check reporting systems. So if you are in trouble with credit, you will get the knockback on these systems. So one of the other options is cashback sites and coupons. So why not get some money back when you do some shopping? So there's 3 major cashback sites in Australia: Kickback, Cash Rewards, and Shopback. These services partner with major and smaller retailers, and you can purchase directly from those shops, so you actually do get the money there. So let's actually show you a couple of these sites: Kickback and Shopback. Shopback.com.au. So you have to be a member of those sites. Some of them might even charge you a monthly fee to be a part of them, but you can get some very good discounts out of them. So again, it's something to be aware of. Whether or not you want to look at it, it's totally up to you. You can get some good discounts here. So for example, we've got shopback.com.au up at the moment, and the whole idea of these shops is that if you click and shop through the website, and you could shop for all these different items that you have. If you shop through the website themselves, you'll either get a cashback or some sort of discount. For example, you get a DoorDash gives you $20 back, Big W gives you 3%, Maya 5% on your purchases, Booking 6%, and so on. So if you buy through these sites, you get a percentage back. Now, sometimes these percentages go into a bank account that you can then withdraw the funds from later on as cash, if you like. You know, they can actually pop the money into your bank account or into a card, and you can use that cashback percentages as money. Sometimes they will actually also let you use them as credit against future purchases as well. And there's a cashback shopback extension here. This means that it's actually can be built into my web browser. So when I go shopping next time, it can identify stores that might be a part of Shopback and then automatically apply discounts to them as well. So keeping you within that system. Another one there is Kickback. And Kickback is again giving you percentages or money back or discounts there as well. And with those discounts, you can then either have money returned back to your bank account, or again, you can use them as a discount. There we go. It takes a minute to sign up, shop at your popular stores, and build up a stash of cash. And then you can pay it out to your bank or your PayPal account, and a minimum of $10. So, you know, lots of different cashback options there that you can get. They're great little options, and you can save quite a lot of money with them. If you're looking at coupons and things, you can also use things such as Honey as well, which offers you the option to actually have coupon discount codes show up for websites that you're looking at as well. So let's just come back to our little presentation here. So yeah, so minimum spend of $10 on transactions. You get the money back into your account or your card. Great for those people who really do a lot of online shopping. And then you've got the coupon sites such as Honey, iBotter, and Shopkick. And they generally look for discount codes that the website might be using as promotions. They find those codes and they apply the discount at checkout, so you can actually get some extra money. And you'd be surprised, sometimes quite a few stores have discounts going with little codes that you might not even be aware of. And these services such as Honey, iBotter, and Shopback will go along and find them for you. Now, even the most professional website may yet host a scam, so read reviews of the online store before you purchase. Credit card and PayPal are always the safest options for immediate online purchases. Consider using a buy now, pay later service to spread the cost. Consider and especially do contact your bank immediately if you notice any suspicious transactions, and check your banking daily. And I'm always checking my banking anytime anyway, just to make sure that everything's okay. If you do make an online purchase, check your banking within 15 minutes of that purchase, and keep a log of the purchases and retain a list of those and those items that you have had delivered. And remember, the consumer law only applies to Australia.